Welcome everyone to Southern Virginia University Women's Volleyball. It is the Capital Conference quarterfinals here tonight from the Knight Sports Arena as the Southern Virginia University women get ready to take on Marymount. The winner of this match tonight moves on to the semifinal round on Thursday at Mary Washington. And of course, the loser of this match tonight is finished for the season. The Knights are on a winning streak. After they lost 3 in a row, they have now won 4 in a row. They are 21-7 on the season. And again, facing a team that they already played on Saturday at Marymount. The Marymount Saints come in with a record of 14-13 on the season. And the Knights defeated Marymount in the regular season conference, last game of the conference schedule, again on Saturday at Marymount. They defeated them in 5 sets. It was a close match, and they turn right around and have to play the same team here in the Capital Conference Tournament quarterfinals tonight. The Knights go in as the number 3 seed in the tournament. Marymount, the number 6 seed, also playing tonight. The number 4 seed, Salisbury, is hosting the number 5 seed, York. The winner of that Salisbury-York match will take on Christopher Newport, which is the number 1 seed, in one semifinal matchup on Thursday. And again, the winner of this match tonight between Marymount and Southern Virginia moves on to the semifinal round to take on Mary Washington at Mary Washington. That's Thursday night, 7 o'clock. So if the Knights can win tonight and then turn right around and beat Mary Washington and Mary Washington, they'd be playing for the championship either at home against either Salisbury or York or on the road at Christopher Newport. That would be Saturday night Saturday nights on November the 4th. So make sure you stay tuned if the Knights are able to defeat the Marymount Saints here tonight. And again, it's a big matchup tonight for both teams, having just played on Saturday. The Knights on a 4-match winning streak, hoping to carry that over into the postseason, into the conference tournament. And we are ready to go here from the Knight Sports Arena. Starting out there for the Knights will be Penny Gwynn, McKinley Knight, Laree Crockett, Claire Hoteling, Haley Lonis, Hannah Allred. Between them, Gwynn and Allred have over 700 kills this season. And we'll see if the Knights can get off and rolling here in set 1 with Gwynn serving. Crockett will go over to Allred. Good dig there by the Marymount Saints. And that shot by Marymount is too long, and the Knights score the first point tonight. So the Knights have their first point of set number 1. Again, these two teams battled on Saturday. And apparently they're going to say that point is going to go to Marymount instead. Apparently they're going to say it was either touched by the Knights or somehow got in. Must have been touched by the Knights, so it's a point for the Marymount Saints. And now the Saints will serve with Crockett going over to the left side to Allred. Marymount knocks it over and gets the second point as McKinley Knight was not able to stop that. And so the Saints, who again lost to the Knights on Saturday at Marymount in 5 sets, and that was a very close 5th set as well, off and running here in set number 1. And there's a service error by Marymount to get the Knights their first point, so it's 2-1. As Ryan Dubinsky, who's getting a lot of playing time in the last 4 to 5 matches, checks in for the Knights. And Lonis will now serve for the Knights. 2-1, Marymount on top. Good low serve by Haley Lonis. Marymount gets the net. Knights are able to get it back across, but the block goes to Marymount. Right there was Maya Cordry with the block, and it's 3-1 Saints. So Marymount jumping on top here in set 1. And there's a service error. It is now 3-2. And I'm going to be joined here on the webcast now by the men's volleyball coach, Coach Tom Peterson. And Tom, as we were saying in the pregame before we got this first set off and rolling, again, it's a whole different animal, this conference tournament, and this being the quarterfinal round as the Knights get the ace there to tie it at 3, because for the first time this season, it's win or go home.
Yeah, single elimination. And this is a lot of pressure on both teams, but the home court advantage is probably worth a few points for the Knights this evening. The crowd is going to be big, and it's everybody knows that this is a very, very important game, so I'm sure they're going to cheer at the right time.
And it really is an excellent crowd, at least early on, and probably going to grow as the evening goes on, as Allred tries to go down the left side and could not get it in, so the Saints take a 4-3 lead. And these two teams, Tom, met on Saturday, and it was very close. It was a 5-set deal that the Knights were able to win 3 out of 2. And that 5th set, the Knights actually trailed late in that 5th set, but then had a good run to close it and actually defeated Marymount in a very close 5-set match. So, again, these two teams will turn right around in about 72 hours and play each other again here.
That's right. Talking to the coaches for the Knights, they're pretty confident that they're going to play tonight at least as well as they did on the road against Marymount. And that should actually give them a few points advantage because of the home crowd. But you never know in volleyball. It's just such a game of momentum. It could go either way, especially with two teams that are fairly well matched.
And not a good point there for the Knights as Marymount edges out to a bigger lead here in set number 1.
6-3. The Knights traditionally have kind of been a little bit all over the place in the early beginning of games. Mm-hmm. They've been up big, but they've also been behind big, and they've had to make some comebacks.
That one was blocked out of bounds by Marymount. Dubinsky right there. Dubinsky getting a lot of playing time in the last 4 to 5 matches.
You know, when we talked about Dubinsky coming in the last match that we broadcasted here at home, that was a few matches ago now, I talked about her being so athletic. And she is still showing her athleticism, and when she's on, she's really on. She really helps the team.
Good serve by Hannah Allred, and the Knights pick up point number 5. And the winner of this match will move on to play Mary Washington in the semis Thursday night. And if the Knights were able to beat Mary Washington, they would either on Saturday play at CNU in the championship or possibly host Salisbury or York in the championship.
Yep, that's right.
Barring an upset then, Tom, we're talking about Marymount tonight and Mary Washington for sure on Thursday, and then possibly CNU on Saturday. And, again, these are 3 teams the Knights have seen in the last week and a half.
Yeah, there won't be any surprises with lineup changes or anything like that. And I think the Knights match up very well. At least the coaches really are confident in their matchups with any of the teams. CNU is probably kind of the more consistent of all the teams this year. But the Knights, when they play well, they can match up very well with anyone.
You know, and obviously the winner of this tournament, the conference tournament, moves on to the Division III tournament. CNU is about the only team, Tom, that has probably an almost assured bet if they don't win the tournament to get an at-large bid. I'm not sure if you talk about CNU winning both the regular season and the tournament, who from the Capital Conference, if anybody, obviously, but I mean, it could be a real dogfight to get an at-large bid.
Yeah, and you really never know what a committee is going to take into account and how they look at things. But in talking to the coaches for Southern Virginia, they don't want to even rely on that at all to try to get an at-large bid. In fact, they think that the chances are very remote that they would get an at-large bid. And I'm not sure that any other team in the conference has that record. You have to have a good record against other teams, and then who they play. It's a power rating. So if you beat somebody that's really good but lose to somebody who's really poor, that's not good. And the other way around is not so bad. And so it just really depends.
Well, the Knights on a little bit of a bad run here. Marymount's moved out to the lead in the set, and quick timeout taken by the Knights here in set number 1, which is not something we have seen this season, at least at home. Haven't seen too many early timeouts by the Knights.
Yeah, it is 10-5, and like I said early on, especially when you get down to a pressure situation where this is a single elimination, it's conference playoffs, that's what all the teams shoot for. The players, it depends on their perception, and the team that has been there the least amount or a team hasn't been there for a while, that actually creates a little bit more pressure because you haven't been there and you don't know what to expect from the previous year. So
Knights are 21-7 on the season, and it was the 2014 Knights team, the first year in Division III, that also won 21 games. So the Knights have equaled that record. And if they can win tonight, Tom, that would be their 22nd win of the season. That would set a record in Division III for women's volleyball for total victories.
Yeah, we should point out more than a few times how wonderful a season this is. Even in spite of a loss tonight or a win tonight, not even taking that into account, it's been a wonderful season for the Knights, and women's volleyball is on the rise.
It was that 2014 team that actually got to the conference semifinals because they got a first-round bye. The Knights not able to get that first-round bye, thus they've got to play Marymount here tonight, and Marymount has looked very good so far here in set number 1. They've got the lead.
Yeah, 11-6. Yeah, Marymount coming out very well. Because these teams are pretty well evenly matched as far as the talent goes, I expect lots of momentum switches, and the Knights just need to come back and switch the momentum.
Yeah, right now the Knights trying to get on a run. They just picked up their 7th point, Tom, and that's exactly what they need at this stage of set number 1. They really need 3 or 4 points in a row.
Yeah, and
Delaney
Layton of late as well has been coming into the match in the back row and serving very well, playing great defense and passing very well. That helps the Knights.
Good low serve there by Delaney. Blocked, but the Knights are not able to get it back across. Another point for the Saints.
Well, in the few points that I've seen, and I apologize for being late, we had our own volleyball practice with the men this evening, but it looks like Marymount is really on, and they have some powerful hitters. So we just, the Knights really have to counter who the best hitters are. Let's get the block going for the Knights.
And again, this is the first time the Knights have been involved in a do-or-die situation since 2014, since they lost to Salisbury in the conference semifinals. And attempted a dig there by McKinley, not able to make the stop. Another point for the Saints.
Yeah, so far 13-7. That's a pretty good lead unless the Knights can change the momentum.
And the Knights need to do so in a hurry. And Crockett right there, all red, pushes it back across, and I think they're going to call her for a push.
Yep, unless the ball comes out cleanly from your hands, if it goes to the side or it makes a lot of spin and it looks kind of, I don't know, I just call it ugly.
Yeah.
Then the referee calls that a lift or a double.
And here's Gwynn smoking that kill, and that's exactly what the Knights need. And at this stage here in set 1, they really need to go on a 3 or 4 point run at least.
For the Knights, again, the power of the outside hitters for the Knights, Penny Gwynn and Hannah Allred, they need to get their kills tonight. And they also, I think, the Knights against a good team, they need to have someone else really step up their game for the evening. And so far, the Knights are kind of, now it's 15-8. The Knights are not in a groove right now.
Yeah, looking at the stats, Marymount had 5 players with kills, 168 to 218. The Knights have those 2 big guns in Allred and Gwynn. Between them, they have over 720 kills. But again, Marymount really relies, as far as the kills are concerned, they really spread it around.
Well, when a team spreads it around, it makes it very hard on the block to really load up on one person and slow them down.
I think you mentioned that's why one of the reasons you were impressed with CNU.
That's exactly right. They had a few more people that they can go to. You just can't gang up on a few people.
Gwynn with a little push shot across. Knights really need this point. And another well-played point by the Marymount Saints as Cordry was able to push that little kill into a no-man's land for the Knights. And now the Knights are in desperate straits here in set number 1.
Yeah, 17-8. That's a very good lead, unless Marymount kind of helps the Knights out by not playing quite so on fire.
Boy, Marymount's just making all the plays right now.
Yeah.
And nothing the Knights can really do about this. I mean, they're not playing perhaps really well, but Marymount is just almost perfect at this stage.
That's what it looks like to me as well. The Marymount really came out on strong, and everything is going well, especially the ball control. They're digging the ball well, but on serve and serve receive, they're passing right to the setter, and that sure makes it a lot easier.
Good news is it's just 1 set, and they've got to win 3. So even if the Knights are not able to make a big comeback here in set number 1, they still have plenty more opportunities in this match.
Oh, certainly. And like I said, just the emotions, that I think that's the most important factor right now is the emotions for the Knights. Okay, you guys, we made it here, and this is who we are. The whole season, this is how we got here. We can't just rely and get nervous for one game. Let's get back into how we can play. I think you have to have that attitude.
I know the Knights, entering in last weekend, they were really hoping that York was going to beat Mary Washington on Saturday, which would have allowed them to be the number 2 seed. We wouldn't be here tonight. We'd be already into the semifinals on Thursday, but that's not the way it turned out. And so the Knights, again, in about 72-hour span, having to turn around and play the same team they played on Saturday to finish off the conference regular season.
And I will say that when you play a team more than once and you're pretty even with that other team, it's hard to beat them every time.
Yeah.
And It just happens that way.
See if Marymount stays on fire here in set one, or if the Knights can get a roll going. Blocked by Marymount, they get another point.
Boy, 19-8. That's a very big lead for Marymount.
Yeah, right now it's not so much the Knights trying to make a miracle comeback here in set one. It's just trying to get some momentum for sets 2, 3, and hopefully 4 and 5.
That's exactly right. There comes a point where you're probably not going to win the game, but it's how you played near the end of the game for the next one.
Good block by the Knights. They'll go to Crockett. Now over to Lonis. Another dig there by the Marymount Saints. Crockett will go over to Gwynn from the back row, and she makes a heck of a shot.
Yeah, it's a needed time for Penny Gwynn to hit from the back row, and it was a roll shot. It's always interesting how a team defends somebody that can hit from the back row. That time the Marymount chose not just to leave their players back, and so Penny Gwynn was able to roll it right to the middle.
And Ho-Tailing not able to make that dig.
Wow, 29. Actually, the lead is steadily increased for Marymount, and that's a sign of a good team or a team that came to play. The Knights need to get rolling here.
Marymount trying to stay on fire here. Knights
20-10 now.
20-10. And by the way, at intermission, we'll salute a couple of cross-country performers for the Knights. Knights are really doing very well in a lot of sports this fall, not just volleyball.
Right.
Well, Gwynn makes it a good play, but not able to track it down is Crockett and Knight. So another point, 21-10 now, as Marymount just 4 points away from upsetting the Knights here, at least in set number one. Marymount's really controlled this set, Tom, from the very beginning. And the Knights are just hoping this was a slow start tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Knights really have to concentrate here.
Dubinsky is too far with her shot.
Boy, none of the Knights right now are on fire. The ball control, you could just tell the difference. The Marymount able to set the ball easier, and the Knights really are struggling right now with some ball control. But there's a good pass.
And Allred doing a great job there. You know, it just seems to me, and maybe you got to credit Marymount, that Allred and Gwynn just haven't had a lot of opportunities when it comes to kills.
Yeah, you know, a good serving team can take the other team out of system, I call it, and that really makes it a lot easier if you can get the serve in to get the other team to not be able to set the ball well.
Tiggs almost had the kill there. Marymount will get it back across. Now Crockett will set up Gwynn. Good dig by Marymount, and the Saints will be blocked. Nope, they're blocked on the Southern Virginia side, and the point goes to the Saints, who continue to inch their way to 25.
Yeah, 23-11. Boy, everything going well now for Marymount. All of the long rallies seem to go to them as well.
The only question, I guess, at this stage, Tom, in this match is, will this be how it's going to go the entire match, or is this just an aberration here in set number one?
Exactly.
And Marymount, a little miscommunication there. They're one of their first errors tonight.
That's the first one that I can remember seeing so far.
They might have had a service error or two early in the match, but really their errors in this set one have been few and far between.
Yeah, 23-12.
Knights not able to make the block. Knights are able to get it back across, though. Another point. That one turned in by Michael Johnson, the freshman. She's only 5'5" out of Williamsburg, Virginia, but she can really leap.
Yeah, set point for Marymount, 24-12. Boy, yeah, the Knights really do need to regroup. That 3-minute timeout will be good, and switching sides, a lot of things that can help change the momentum.
Lonis over. Marymount trying to win the set here. And they will.
Wow.
25-12.
Boy, a very convincing first set win for Marymount. Very impressive.
What will Coach Gwynn say to her team in between set 1 and set 2? Will she really point out anything in particular or specific about set 1, or just say, forget about set 1, it's in the past, let's move on to set 2, and let's just focus on the what's still left in this match?
Well, I think you're right by saying that. They just beat this team. I mean, you can keep saying that over. Hey, you guys, we just beat this team. Let's get going and play our game the way we can play it, and the win will come if we can just play well. Forget what just happened. In fact, good athletes, that's a little sports psychology, good athletes always think into the future. Anytime that you think about what happened previous and any error or anything that you didn't do as well as you wanted, then that's, that just takes you back and you start making more errors. Yep. Think into the future.
For the Saints, you can see a lot of confidence in their huddle down there on the floor right now, Tom, and why not the way they played in set 1? They may be perhaps 1 or 2 service errors, 1 or 2 mistakes, but very, very few errors turned in by Marymount in that first set.
Yeah, this is going to be a good match. If Marymount can continue to play like that, the Knights, I'm very sure, will start playing a little bit better. But Marymount has to come back down to earth a little bit as well. So, yeah, it's a very interesting first set so far.
By the way, soccer is done, of course. Football, still more games coming up for the Knights football team. They have 2 road contests, William Patterson College of New Jersey, the next couple of Saturdays to finish off the football season. And we mentioned cross country will be headed to the regionals, and we'll be talking more about that as we go along, especially in between set 2 and set 3. As far as the sets, or the first set, the stats are concerned, Tom.
Oh, boy.
Marymount, again, they had 2 service errors. The Knights actually had 0 service errors, but again, Marymount not making too many mistakes, and they had a couple of performers out there with some excellent percentages, at least in set 1. Again, as a team, they were able to turn in a .545 percentage.
Yeah, that's the thing that sticks out. Actually, the Knights hitting a negative percentage, negative -179. I'm not even sure of the last time they did that, and at least it's just in one set. But a negative percentage as a team, you're not going to win a set or a game if you hit negative, and the other team, especially hitting over 500, they're not going to keep that up. I can dare say that.
Yeah, and you can see how Marymount was also aggressive when it comes to blocks.
Yeah, no blocks for the Knights at all, and 3 solo blocks and 2 block assists for Marymount. Yeah, everything combined is just kind of one of those sets. I think you're right when you say, let's just forget about this.
Because only 1 kill for Hannah Allred in that first set.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen again. They just need to settle down. Hey, this is the playoffs. Now we've had this first set under our belt. Now let's get back to what we can do.
Excellent crowd again here tonight. And again, the winner of this match tonight moves on to play Mary Washington Thursday night at 7 o'clock in the conference semifinals. The winner, though, done for the season. Knights have not really been involved in a winner-take-all, do-or-die match for several seasons, and probably as far as the players on this club are concerned, they've never really been in a situation where if they don't win, their season's over.
That's exactly right. And anytime you go into a newer situation and the unknown kind of makes you a little nervous, and how you handle that as an athlete, that's determines your performance, I think.
And you were hoping, obviously, for home court advantage, and obviously the Knights have that home court advantage tonight, but as far as the Saints are concerned, they don't seem to be in awe of playing on the Knights' home court, at least here early on in this match, as the Knights try to get set 2 off and running, with Gwynn getting a fantastic shot. Penny Gwynn putting it where the Saints weren't.
Yeah, put it where they ain't, is I guess you could say. But Penny Gwynn, again, with that roll shot. We've talked about her roll shot over and over, the ability to just roll it off her hand and not tip it, really, just roll it right to the middle of the court.
She seems to be using that more and more down the stretch.
Yeah, as long as it keeps working, and it really is surprising when
Allred with the kill. It was blocked out of bounds, and the Knights have a good start here in set number 2, the start they needed, 2-0.
Absolutely. Yeah, change of momentum. You can just feel it right off the bat. Yeah, I'm surprised at other teams. When you scout another team and you see somebody hitting a certain shot, you try to defend that in a certain way, but so far no one's really defended the roll shot from Penny Gwynn.
Allred over to Crockett, now to Gwynn. Oh, nice dig there by Marymount.
Oh, too bad. The ball just a field goal that went through the arms of Crockett that time.
giving the Saints their first point here in set number 2. And now serving for the Saints will be Buscemi. All red. Well, what a heck of a dig there, but the Saints not able to chase it down after a good dig by Jasmine Roy, and the kill goes to Allred. That's her third of the night, I believe.
Both Gwynn and Allred now have had more or better luck this set already than the whole last set, so things have changed, it looks like.
See if the Knights can keep it going with Lonis now serving. And the Saints are able to steal that point.
Yep, defending the tip. The block was right there. In fact, 2 blockers went up with the middle, which is nice to have, but if the setter or a hitter tips the ball, then you have to have someone in the back row ready for that. And not ready that time, the Knights.
And the Knights not able to return that one, so we're all even at 3. Knights had looked pretty good early on, and just like that, the Saints come up with a couple of points in a row and tie this second set.
Boy, the Knights have their hands full tonight. They need to play well for an entire length of the match, not just for periods of time.
Allred trying to get her third kill of the second set there. Blocked by the Knights, but let's see, was it blocked out of bounds?
Yeah,
yes,
it was blocked out of bounds.
Yep,
I think the ball was blocked down on the Knights' court. So
and Marymount's got the lead here, 4-3.
Yeah. Wow, good serve.
Yeah. Marymount is making a lot of fantastic digs. It's hard for the Knights to really get anything going here. Quick shot by the Knights, or the Saints make it, and they score the point to make it 5-3.
You can tell the Knights are fighting just a little bit harder. Those rallies could go either way now, so that's good. But now they need to win those rallies. And if you'd notice that Higher is in the middle right now, so that's a personnel change for the Knights, just to get some momentum going.
Good shot by Hannah Allred. She saw the opening and took it. 5-4.
Yeah, teams play a perimeter defense, it's called, when the back row kind of stays back and plays for the hit rather than the tip. It's a man up, or I guess you could say a woman up, but you just call it a man up when a lot of teams tip. And right now, Marymount is in a perimeter defense.
Allred able to take advantage of that Marymount mistake to tie it up at 5-5. Crockett serving. Knights are all even with Marymount here in set number 2, 5 apiece.
Yeah, so when the team plays in a perimeter, that tip or that roll shot will go down.
Error. 6-5 now. The Saints back on top by 1.
Yeah.
Knights would really like to win this set, Tom. They obviously, even if they lose this set, they're still in a position where they could win 3 sets in a row to win the match. But, boy, you don't want to go down 0-2.
Boy, it becomes very, very tough. The home crowd helps a little bit, and traditionally now, it seems, for the Knights, the crowd gets bigger and bigger as the match goes on, but still.
Lindsay Higher with the kill.
Yeah, now it's 6-5. No, it's 6-all, I'm sorry.
So Lindsay Higher doing the job. And again, we've seen a lot of new faces getting a lot more playing time down the stretch, Tom. Higher and Dubinsky are 2 that really leap out.
That's right.
And there is that 5'5" player, Michael Johnson, getting it over to give Marymount the lead back at 7-6.
Yeah, if someone's a shorter player, they need to make up for it with their hitting, a good strong arm, or their jumping ability, and it looks like number 12 has both of those.
Gwynn looking for an opening and finds it as Marymount not able to return that one. Hanson diving but not able to return it.
Yeah, again, it was a roll shot that's going down. Very interesting.
There's McKinley Knight ready to serve for the Knights.
7-7.
And a miss hit there by McKinley Knight on the serve, and the Saints take the lead back. Knights had not had any service errors in set 1, but now starting to get a few here in set 2.
Yeah, we always talk about service errors. You have to have a good ratio, aces to errors, or at least get the other team out of system a lot.
And there's Tiggs getting involved with a big kill.
8 apiece. Now that's what I think that the Knights need. When Allison Tiggs, number 12, is in the lineup in the front row, they need to go to her. She needs to be able to put those balls away because now when she goes to the back row, Layton subs in for her for the serve.
And Layton is in there to serve right now in an all-even set number 2. Michael Johnson got it across. And now Gwynn will try. It is blocked by Marymount. Allred pushes it over. They'll go to the left side and is blocked by the Knights, and the Knights have their 9th point.
9-8 now for the Knights. That's their first lead for a while, I think.
Since the early part.
Well, that's
3-1 when they led 3-1 here in set 2. Good low serve by Layton.
Oh.
And a mistake by Marymount, and we'll see if the Saints might take a timeout here shortly.
10-8.
Boy, if the Knights get another point, you might see a Saints timeout. Pushed over. Layton right there. Crockett over to Gwynn. She puts it away. Nope. Dig there by the Marymount Saints. Allred right there as well. Back to Gwynn. Now the Saints will try the middle. Allred.
Good long rally.
And the Knights not able to stop that shot by Michael Johnson. Johnson, 5'5", again, doing a lot of damage here tonight. She came in as far as kills were concerned with 179 kills. I think that's 3rd on the team for Marymount.
Yeah, so far she seems to be the focus of the offense. 5'5" and a freshman as well, but she has a good arm, can jump well.
Saints will serve, and there's an error.
So far the errors on both sides are playing a big part. It's 11-9.
Knights have the 2-point lead. Trying to stay ahead here after losing the first set 25-12. Good serve by Gwynn. She just put it down low, and again, a rare error by Marymount, at least here in this match so far, where they were not able to return it. The Knights have a 3-point lead now. Knights trying to build some momentum in this match and win set number 2.
That's a good play.
Saints get the kill, 12-10.
Anytime either team can hit in the middle of the court, it usually is a good play. If it's in system and the middle hitter has a good swing at the ball.
Saints serving. Here's Crockett setting up Allred. Blocked by the Saints. They'll go left side.
Wow.
Win with a fantastic dig. Saints will go back to the right side. Blocked, but it's blocked.
And a touch, so it'll be Saints' point.
No, they're going to say apparently maybe the Saints touched it and the point will go to the Knights. Because that ball definitely went out, but maybe one of the Saints touched it before it went out.
I think the referee said that it went through the net to hit the block rather than over the net.
And
but the linesperson called a touch, but he was overruled.
So the Knights get the point. Big point there for the Knights. Here's Gwynn from the back row. Over to the right. There's a Hoteling with a nice dig. Allred taps it over. Marymount smacks it back over quickly. And there is Heyer with the kill.
So Heyer with 2 kills already. Someone else helping the outside. That's what the Knights need. So it's 14-10.
And boy, you're kind of surprised Marymount hasn't called a timeout. Maybe they will if the Knights score here. It's 14-10 and Lona serving. And she has a service error.
Well,
hate to let the other team off the hook.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Lonas, we've talked about her serve before. It's a very tough serve. When it goes in, it really floats. But a lot of misses come with that as well.
14-11, and there's a service ace hitting the net and falling over.
14-12.
For Hansen.
Yeah, those just aren't fair. You can't really do anything about one that just climbs the net a little bit and drops down.
2-point run here by Marymount. Heyer. Great shot by Heyer.
Boy, 3 in a row for Heyer.
Tiggs will check back in.
You know, what that does, more than just the kills themselves, that helps the outside hitter not have so many blockers that can just gang up again on the outside. So if the Knights can go to the middle a little bit more, that sure helps.
Good serve by Crockett to the right side. And boy, what a kill that was by Markham. 15-13.
15-13. And one thing that we can see up here at our vantage point is where the blockers line up. And right now, Marymount really is taking the angle. The outside hitters for the Knights, if they can start hitting down the line, I think they'll have some better success.
Ewan with the serve. Here's All Red. Couldn't get it over.
15-14.
The Saints are just hanging in. The Knights have kind of dominated the last few stretches of set two, but somehow Marymount is only down one.
That's right.
Ewan with the serve. They go to Tiggs. The dig, and here's Michael Johnson with a little tip, and All Red right there. They go to Tiggs, and it's out, and we're all even at 15.
Now Tiggs, she has a good arm as well. She's left-handed. Oh, there's a timeout. Now, this might be a media timeout at 15 all. I'm not sure if we were told that or not. But
both teams really need this timeout, though, I think.
Yeah, and if they call a media timeout, then at 15 all, if the timeout has not been called, then automatically timeout happens at 15, and it's not charged to either team.
And both teams really could use this timeout, not just for a breather, but to kind of collect themselves, because the Knights have played pretty well here in set two, a lot better than they played, obviously, in set one, where they lost 25-12. They've had a 3 or 4 point lead here in set two, but Marymount has played just well enough to hang around, and it is really anybody's set here at this stage of set two.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun if you look around. I don't know if the camera will ever look at the crowd too much, but it's Halloween, and a lot of people dressed up and some fun things going on
it's
this evening.
Also, of course, the World Series, and I see a few Dodgers and Astros jerseys out there.
It's fun. And this is one of the first times that all the stands are starting to get full now on both sides. There's some stands that are way at the other end that a lot of times don't get full, but now it's starting to fill up right now. It's great.
Crucial stage here of set two with Newen serving. They're going to go to Tiggs, and it's a miss hit there by Marymount at Costum, and the Knights pick up point number 16.
You know, just for strategy, Tiggs is left-handed. When they're in rotation one, that means Tiggs is left front, and sometimes they stack it, the Knights do, which means that Tiggs will hit on the other side, but they choose now for the last while to put Tiggs, the left-handed, on the left side, which is a little harder.
And there again is Michael Johnson making the play. Again, she gets up so quick. She, again, is only 5'5", but very fast, can jump quick, and she doesn't take too much time getting her shot off. And there's a service error by Marymount.
Boy. Now we're getting down to the last part of the set where the missed serves are even more important, it seems, anyway. 17-16.
Knights by one. Here's McKinley Knight. She had a service error her last time, I think. Got a serve off there. Here's Johnson again.
Good dig.
By McKinley Knight. Gwynn with a little push. Now back over to Johnson. They're really focused on her, and it's blocked out of bounds by the Knights.
Yeah, when Johnson goes up to hit, you can see she jumps so well that it almost looks like she hovers in the air before she swings. Usually a player has to swing at the same time as they get to their exact height that they can jump, but she
Which
seems
maybe
to
gives
hover.
her
It's
a
really
chance,
fun.
gives her a chance to kind of make up her mind in mid-motion.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which can be confusing, I would think, to the defense.
Yeah.
And the Knights pick up the point.
18-17 now, Knights.
And here comes Layton in for Tiggs. As Layton will serve. Knights really need a run here of 2 or 3 points to get a little bit of a cushion. They've got a 1 point lead right now. Bit of a miss hit there by Marymount. And somehow they got it back across. Lonis smokes it home with the kill. 19-17, Southern Virginia.
Yeah, Lonis only a freshman.
Timeout by Marymount. They're down 2. They know they cannot afford to fall any further behind here in set 2. A little bit of pressure off Marymount as, of course, they won set 1 25-12. But if you're the Saints on the road, you really want to try to stay on top of Southern Virginia and not give them any momentum.
Yeah, if they could come back, if Marymount can come back and win this set, it's huge for them. But when it's all tied up and you have so many fans here, it's such a home crowd advantage, a small gym, kind of enclosed, so the sound, it's really loud. That gives a few points advantage each set, I think, to the home team. And you don't want to be down 2-0. Tied up is okay, 1-1. But, boy, if you're up 2-0, that's such an advantage. It quiets the crowd, actually, when that happens.
Best of all possible worlds heading into this conference tournament. The Knights would win today, would win on Thursday at Mary Washington, where they played again just about a week ago Saturday. And then hopefully York or Salisbury, whoever wins their match tonight in the quarterfinals, would go to CNU and beat CNU. Now, CNU has not been beaten, I believe, yet in conference play, so that would be a huge upset. But if that happened, the Knights would be hosting the championship on Saturday. But right now, obviously, they're just focused on trying to survive Marymount.
That's exactly right. Just one match at a time. Right now, there's 3 matches to get to the NCAA playoffs, and that's the big goal of any team.
And a service error for Layton.
Too bad, especially out of a timeout. When you miss a serve, it makes it kind of hard, or makes it hard. I shouldn't say kind of hard for your own team. 19-18.
And now it'll be Jasmine Roy, freshman, only 5'3" out of Springfield, Virginia, ready to serve here for Marymount. They're within 1 now.
Good pass.
They go to Lonis.
And
it is
touch.
blocked out of bounds. Point to the Knights, 20-18. And now Gwynn will serve.
And Gwynn has been a very consistent and good server all season. Good rotation for the Knights.
See what Marymount does here.
Oh,
good dig there by McKinley Knights. You got it back across. Knight with another dig. Crockett over to Gwynn. Gwynn with another dig. They'll go to Allred. Oh, she was able to find an opening on the court. 21-18 Knights.
Yeah, I think that Marymount still has a timeout left. Coach has to decide when to use that. The coach out there talking to her players. This is very critical now for Marymount.
Knights would love to get this point and take a 4-point lead. Allred setting up. Crockett tried to dump it across. Gwynn will push it over.
Bad, didn't get a swing.
Blocked by the Knights, but blocked out of bounds.
Yeah, when you kind of get a little more anxious under pressure, you don't set up and get a big full swing all the time. And that time the Knights had a chance for a swing. They just couldn't make it happen. So Marymount took advantage.
21-19. Here's Allred again. And she's out with that shot, 21-20.
Boy, both teams, you can feel the pressure. Just feel the excitement and the pressure.
Knights had a 21-18 lead, and I believe that was when the service error occurred. Knights were bidding for a 4-point lead, and now it's a 1-point lead.
Ooh, not a good pass.
Lonis got that over and almost got the kill. Crockett to Lonis. Puts it away.
Well, I thought that was a mistake by Marymount at that time. The ball was high enough that they could have put another blocker up, but they chose to try to block Lonis with one person, and Lonis is too powerful for that. Yeah.
So the Knights just need 3 more points to pick up a set 2 win. It has been a really tough match here at home for the Knights as they are trying to survive Marymount and move on to the conference semifinals on Thursday at Mary Washington. And stay tuned between set 2 and set 3 with our intermission. We'll salute a couple of cross-country performers for the Knights. Hard to believe, the basketball season just a few weeks away. Men's volleyball not that far away as well. How have your practices been going?
Well, we're in our 3rd week now. Out of we get to practice 5 weeks and only 3 times during each week. And we're in our 3rd week, and so far, I really like the guys. They work hard. That doesn't mean that we're perfect or anything like that, but we're working hard to get better.
Too early to scout your schedule to see who's really going to present the biggest challenges?
Well, our league, we're in the Continental Volleyball Conference, and usually 2 or 3 teams are ranked in the top 15 or 20, and that means it's one of the toughest leagues in the country. And right now we're we're not known. This is the first year that we'll be in the conference, and I want to make sure that we're kind of the dark horse this year. But I think we'll be okay. But there's just so many good teams. It's hard to say who's going to come out on top.
Lona serving. Knights need 3 more points to pick up a set 2 win. Marymount not able to get it back over. Hit the net, rolled out.
That was a big point, 23-20.
Knights need 2 more points for the victory.
And here comes, if this serve goes in, it's going to be hard. It's just floats so much. Lonis has such a good serve when it's in.
Good serve by Haley that time.
Took Marymount out of system.
Here's Gwynn. Couldn't get it back over. Marymount picks up an important point, 23-21.
I think that the Knights still have 2 timeouts, if I'm correct. So they're in control of this, at least the second set so far.
They'll go to all red. Oh, she found
boy.
the opening on that side and got the point to make it 24-21. And now here's set point for the Knights.
What an angle shot by Hannah Allred.
It was hard to believe that anybody from the Saints actually got a
Touch
finger
it.
on it. Crockett with the crowd on its feet. Set point.
Oh boy, they're in trouble.
Knights pick up the win, 25-21.
Fun.
And so the Knights have evened this match at a set apiece. And that was a very, very important set for the Knights to capture.
Boy, now that we've had 2 sets, you can see both teams have good talent, and it'll be very interesting what both teams will say and do in their locker room to try to match up. You know, it's a chess match at this point in time. They know each other well. They played each other in the last few days. And the adjustments to make, but right now the Knights don't have to make very many adjustments. They just have to play how they can because they match up pretty well.
So the Knights have the momentum, you think, going into set 3, or
well,
Marymount
absolutely.
played just well enough to think that they might have some confidence still?
Well, I think that anytime you win the second set, especially in that fashion at the end, I think that you have the momentum. It's just such a long break that you never really know. 10-minute break, that's you can kind of stop the momentum or start the momentum for another team.
Well, they are going ahead and honoring, as we mentioned, a couple of members of the women's cross-country team out there on the court. Morgan Bingham and Sydney Bigelow. Sydney shaved 90 seconds off her 6K time to set a personal record recently and claimed the runner-up spot in the Capital Athletic Conference Championship race this past Saturday, finishing the race in 23 minutes and 8 seconds. And Morgan, the first player in conference history to be named the CAC Rookie of the Year and Athlete of the Year. She is Southern Virginia's first ever Capital Athletic Conference champion. Finished the 6K in 22 minutes and 52 seconds. The only runner in 2 seasons to finish the championship race in under 23 minutes. And Morgan and Sydney and both the men's and women's cross-country teams will be competing at the NCAA Regionals in about a week and a half. So congratulations once again to Sydney Bigelow and Morgan Bingham. Again, we're in between set 2 and set 3, Tom. Do you expect many changes by the Knights when we look ahead to set number 3 with this match all even now at 1 apiece?
Well, not too many changes. It'll be interesting to see who starts in that second middle hitter or middle blocker position. It ended with Higher in, and Higher got some kills. So I would expect that to happen. Anytime you win, to make a change from just after you win, you probably wouldn't do that. So I would expect Higher to start and Leighton in the back row, but I wouldn't make any other changes. I wouldn't anticipate any more changes.
Stay with us. We're just about 7 minutes away from getting this match back underway with set number 3, with the match right now all even at a set apiece. We'll take a break here from the Knight Sports Arena. And welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined again by the men's volleyball coach, Coach Tom Peterson. We're bringing you all the action tonight of the Capital Conference Tournament, the quarterfinal round between Southern Virginia and Marymount. Marymount won the first set, 25-12. The Knights took the second set, 25-21. So heading into set 3 here, we are all even at 1, best of 5 sets. So the Knights need to win 2 more sets. Marymount needs to win 2 more sets.
Yeah, and you can see the stats from the previous 2 sets. We don't have stats for each set, so when you look at the stats, there are 2 players from Marymount. Number 13, Alex Markham, with still hitting .368 with 19 swings, and Mikkel Johnson with 16 swings, still hitting .375. That's really a good percentage. But I'm sure it calmed down in the second set. They were so dominating in the first. And if you look at the night stats, there are 2 players that are dominating with a number of sets, Penny Gwynn and Hannah Allred, and that's kind of usual for the Knights. But they're not hitting quite as well, but I'm sure in that second set, things turned around quite a bit.
And now we'll see who can get the momentum going here, Tom, in set number 3, because this is a crucial set. It won't give you the match victory by winning the set, but it'll put you in the driver's seat, knowing that the other team's going to have to win 2 sets to win the match.
That is correct.
And right off the bat, a service ace for Penny Gwynn. And the Knights are trying to pick up their 22nd win of the year.
Oh, wow. Now, I'm just noticing one thing for the Knights that I haven't seen them do very often. They're starting in a different rotation. This is rotation 5, where Crockett, the setter, is in the middle front. So they must have seen a lineup that they want to have a certain matchup against the other team. That's interesting.
Crockett goes to Lonas, but it's blocked by Marymount. That was Walker, Ashton Walker, 5'10" junior out of Chesapeake, getting the block.
Yeah, and so that puts Hannah Allred left front, and she probably is the one that's on fire a little bit for the Knights, and that they want her across the front row all 3 times, right, to begin this set.
Crockett will get it back across. Knights unable to really get a good kill attempt there. Gwynn, Crockett, Allred here. It is blocked and stays in for a good block by Marymount. And the Saints are on top here 2-1.
Good block. Both teams have, when they get the momentum, they're very impressive, either team.
And a bit of a miss here by McKinley Knight. Allred able to get it over, and Hoteling back across. Oh, what a kill shot that time by Caroline Hanson, the 5'9" junior out of Montgomery Village, Maryland, for the Saints, and it's 3-1 Marymount. Knights looking to get a point here and stop this little run by the Saints. Crockett tried to push it over, and now they'll go to Allred again, and she finds the open spot.
Yeah, I am still thinking about the rotation switch for the Knights. I just haven't seen them do it that much, and I don't remember them doing it. So they must have seen something that they would like to switch. And sometimes when you haven't made that switch for a very, very long time, I don't know, it either really works for you or sometimes the momentum works against you. I thought the first few points were just a little tentative.
Mistake there by Marymount on the set. So we're now even at 3 with Lona serving again. Good serve by Haley. Saints get it over, blocked by the Knights.
There's a good block. Higher and Allred.
Haven't seen too many successful blocks tonight by Southern Virginia, and that was one of them.
That was a very good one. When 2 blockers go up right next to each other, and that's a good block.
Lonas again, a good serve, low serve on the right side for Marymount. But they were able to get it back over and get the point.
So many tips.
4-4, I believe.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, with so many tips and roll shots on both sides, if the team would say, oh, let's play a man up in a certain situation or against a certain hitter.
McKinley Knight not able to return that one. 5-4 Marymount. Serving here is Caroline Hanson, the junior. Marymount has jumped to a 1-point lead, and there's a service error to make it 5-5.
serving errors playing a part in this set.
Neither team has really had a big advantage in service errors versus service aces, but in a match this close, anybody who has a lot of errors in sets 3, 4, and potentially 5, that could really cost you.
Absolutely. Well, there's a touch, so point for Marymount.
6-5, Saints on top now by 1, and here comes Michael Johnson checking back in for the Saints, and she's really been their best player tonight.
She has a lot of sets, and she's still hitting close to 400.
Yeah, Crockett will go. I think they're going to call her for a lift. 7-5 Marymount now.
Yeah, I think that the pass is so close to the net that the setter kind of ran into the net trying to set 7-5.
So she did go into the net, 7-5 as all red. The Crockett, now they'll go to higher. And back to Michael Johnson. And blocked by the Saints, blocking Tiggs' attempt at a kill. 8-5 Saints.
That was a good block. It was almost a solo block, you'd say, because the outside block went way too far. In the middle, just read where the angle was and got into it to block.
Knight goes over to Gwynn. And Michael Johnson will try to take the shot. She hit the antenna, 8-6. Knights within 2 with all red serving.
Yeah, when the ball goes to another player other than the setter, they really can't pinpoint the ball. They just got to give somebody a swing. That time, it was not a very good set.
The Saints get the kill.
9-6.
That was Cordery, the 5'10 freshman out of Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania, making the play. Saints are holding on to a 3-point lead right now. And Allred, boy, what a play there by Tiggs to get it back over, to help get it back over. And they go down to Gwynn, and her shot's too long.
Yeah, I think, too, for Gwynn and Allred, they can be trying just a little bit too hard and kind of hit the ball a little bit harder than usual, and sometimes that just goes out of bounds. 10-6.
Knights down by 4. This is a crucial stage here for the Knights in set 3, down already by 4 points. Almost halfway through set 3. And a service error.
Boy, and that's the second opportunity for Marymount to kind of take control of the set and just service errors.
See if the Knights could take advantage here with McKinley Knight serving, 10-7. And Allred not able to stop that shot by Ashton Walker.
That was a very nice play by Marymount. Hit in the middle of the court, middle hitter, and hit a wrist away. Hit it opposite direction than what she looked like she was going to hit. 11-7.
Maggie Vineyard is serving here for the Saints. Knights trail by 4. Here's Lotus blocked, out of bounds by the Saints. Point goes to the Knights, so it's 11-8. And here comes Layton checking in for Tiggs to serve.
Good time for Layton to get a few points. Get the other team out of system at least. And she did.
Let's get it back over. Now we'll go to Gwynn.
There it is.
11-9. The Knights with 2 straight points, and they have pulled from 4 down to 2 down.
Yeah, that's what I mean by out of system. You serve it so well that you just can't get a good swing, so the Knights get almost a free ball. In fact, they did get a free ball out of that. And here's another one.
Yeah, Michael Johnson has to just drop that one over. They go to Gwynn again. She tips it and finds the opening. Now it's 11-10, and the Knights have scored 3 in a row. And Layton has been one of the keys in this little run here.
You can hear the crowd getting into it as well.
Knights were down by 4. Now they're only down by 1. They go to Michael Johnson. Knights with a good block at the net. Here's Johnson again. And it's blocked. And they're going to say blocked out of bounds, I believe. And the point to the Saints. The crowd didn't like that call.
I'm right here by the line where I can see straight onto it, and I did think that was wide, but the players reacted, the Knights reacted like, oh, it's in, but
it was close.
It was very close.
12-10. That was a big point for the Saints. They still hold on to the lead here by 2 now. Anybody's set here in set 3. Match is all even at a set apiece.
Oh, now a free ball for Marymount.
Got it over, barely. Saints were kind of indecisive about what they wanted to do there. Here's Gwynn, and she gets the kill.
12-11. Knights down by 1. Boy, now Gwynn and Allred hitting just a little bit harder, and the ball goes through the blocker's hands when you hit it that hard.
Knights trying to win for the first time in the Capital Conference tournament. And that one is out. All even, I believe, at 12 now. So the Knights trailed at 1 point by 4, I believe, Tom, and now they're all even. They've had a good run here. We'll see if they can keep it going with Gwynn serving. Good soft serve, Allred right there. Another point for the Knights, 13-12, Southern Virginia. You wonder if Marymount's going to call a timeout here because the crowd is getting into it, and the Knights have come from 4 down to lead now by 1.
13-12. Now, if I'm correct, this media timeout, if they have one, that'll be called in just a few points when someone gets to 15.
Wonder if the Saints are waiting for that.
It might be.
Knights will try to take advantage, pick up this point. Lonis blocked. Crockett over to Lonis on the right side. She couldn't get it over.
13 apiece.
Anybody set here in set 3. Knights lost the first set 25-12. They came back and took the second set 25-21. All even at 13 here at set number 3. They'll go to Lonis. Saints going to go to the right side. Blocked by Lonis.
Well, I think Allred got that one.
Yeah, Allred and Lonis right there. I'll give it to Allred, and the Knights have a 1 point lead. Now Lonis will go ahead and serve here.
Yeah, Allred is so fun to watch when she blocks. She floats out there and swings with her arms and then reaches right into the angle of where it's being hit. It's really fun to watch.
14-13, and now Lonis will serve with a 1 point lead. And looks like it wasn't returned over, and the Knights now have a 15-13 lead.
Coming down to crunch time.
See when that timeout occurs.
Boy, I guess there's not a media timeout because that's 15.
Here's Lonis serving again, and that one is too far. It's 15-14.
Yeah, I think that was a big miss. When you're up on a team and you can keep scoring other than just by getting an ace, you need to keep that ball in.
And a miss hit by Gwynn, a rare error by Penny Gwynn to make it 15-15. So no sooner do the Knights get a 2 point lead and look like they're in control than Marymount comes back with a couple of points, and we're all even again.
Ball control is probably going to determine the match. Not a great pass.
Going to Gwynn. Good dig there by the Saints. And the kill delivered by Alexa Markham. 16-15 Marymount with
the Knights.
Barbara Midas serving.
It's important for the Knights to get a good pass right here.
Crockett will go to Allred, and she delivers the kill. 16 apiece.
Boy, Allred's really hitting an angle tonight. That ball went in front of the 10-foot line, it looked like, so that's quite the angle to hit.
And the player on Marymount's left side was not ready for that shot.
Exactly.
Here's Crockett serving. And that's going to be a service error.
Boy, ball control with serve and serve receive. It all boils down to that all the time. 17-16 for Marymount now.
1 point lead for the Saints. Saints are serving here. Ewan with a serve. They go to higher, and boy, a great dig there by Marymount. Looked like it was going to be a kill for the Knights.
It really was a good dig.
Tiggs is blocked, but blocked out of bounds. 17 apiece.
Yeah, not that, I don't know. I'm watching the left side blockers for Marymount, and it seems like if they can get the ball to Tiggs here a few times, the blocker's not really a good position. Tiggs ought to be able to get a few kills.
17-17. Here's Michael Johnson. I think we're going to have a lift called on Marymount. 18-17. Knights by 1.
And even if they hadn't called that lift, that was fun to watch the Knights. They had 3 people over there trying to block. We call it a max block, and they did block the ball straight down.
And there's a service error. Bad miss hit by Hannah Allred, tied at 18.
Yeah, Hannah Allred.
I haven't seen too many errors like that from Hannah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like she didn't take her time to get ready for that serve.
18-18. They go to Gwynn. She puts it away again. Boy, she's on fire right now. It's 19-18. And that was a great set, too, by the Knights.
Yeah, good play. It was a good pass, so they're in system. And now that time Gwynn chose to hit down the line, and the Marymount's been blocking cross court, so that went down fast.
Knight with the serve. Knights by 1. And Michael Johnson finds the opening to tie it at 19. Neither team can put a run on to get a little space, and we're all even again here in set 3.
Yeah, as a coach, I just want to say to both teams, let's don't let the other team beat us on a tip or a roll shot. Make them beat us hitting a hard ball.
Here's Johnson with the little tip again. Crockett right there for that one, though.
Free ball.
They go to Johnson. It is blocked by the Knights. Tiggs was there, Lonis as well.
Yeah, Tiggs with a very timely block that time. 20-19, 1-point lead for the Knights.
And now we'll see if the Knights, as Layton checks in for Tiggs, if the Knights can finally put that little run on of 2 or 3 points that can lift them to victory here in set 3.
Ooh, that ball very close. Good serve.
Good block by Lonis. And that's 4 hits for the Knights, and they can't get it back over. It's 20-20.
Okay, now we're down to crunch time.
And it makes you wonder if we'll see maybe some timeouts before this one ends here in set 3.
I'm sure we will. And now it comes down to service errors. I just don't think you can afford the last 5 points for either team. Just can't afford to have a missed serve.
There's Roy serving. They go to Gwynn. Good dig there by the Saints. And they're going to go to Gwynn again. And she was able to get it past the blockers to make it 21-20.
Like I said, for either team, we can't let the other team beat us by a roll shot or a tip. But Penny Gwynn is so good at that. Great shot, 21-20.
Knights by 1, Gwynn serving. Knights trying to pick up set 3 after they won set 2.
Good block.
It's going to go to Lonis on the right side. Blocked by Marymount. Crockett this time will go to Allred. Another good block by the Saints. Oh, what a play by Gwynn to save it.
Someone could hit down the line right here.
Let's see Crockett this time to Lonis in the middle, and she scores the point with the kill. 22-20, Knights by 2, and there is that timeout we were talking about. Knights by 2 in a match that is all even at a set apiece here in set number 3.
Important point. 22-20 now. The Knights, if they just play side out volleyball, which I mean, if they side it out when they should, they could win the game. Doesn't always end up that way, of course, but you don't have to serve a great serve now to win if you can keep siding it out. 3
points left to go here in set 3 for the Knights. The loser of this match is done for the season, Tom. The winner has to find a way somehow in 48 hours, less than 48 hours, to get ready for Mary Washington Thursday evening.
You know what, knowing the coaching and how the Knights train, I don't think that is going to be a problem, especially 2 days rest. They should be just fine for that next match. It's all about momentum, but I don't think it's going to be about fatigue or not.
And this would be the first time, I believe, in school history that they've won a Capital Conference tournament game. Their only other trip to the Capital Conference was their first year in D3 in 2014. They won 21 matches that year, but lost in the semifinals. They did not have to play in the quarterfinals. They were, I believe, the number 2 seed that year.
Well, NCAA volleyball is so fun.
Win serving. Knights 3 points away from victory. Now just 2 points away from victory.
Now look at the crowd. They're standing up. 3-point lead. The Knights should win this unless they just make some errors right here at the end.
23-20. Knights trying to take a 2-1 lead in sets. Crowd on its feet. Knights still need 2 more points. Gwynn serves. And that is out 23-21. Good decision there by Marymount to let that go.
That was close.
And they really did take a chance, obviously.
Yeah, someone had a good eye.
23-21. Still, the Knights have the advantage by 2. And that one's out for Marymount, a service error. 24-21. Set point here for the Knights.
Boy, service errors, as I said, that'll play a part. If they last few points of the set, they have some service errors.
Timeout is taken. Lonis will be serving when we come back for the Knights, and she's got a chance with an ace to wrap up set number 3, Tom, and of course with an error to give Marymount a bit of an opening.
Yeah, 3 chances, and probably what you talk about is what we're going to do offensively as well. Right now the Knights are serving, so I guess we should talk about blocking and who the other team is going to set. And we almost take a guess sometimes, and the blockers kind of gang up on that hitter.
So no one really has a special service ace they've got up their sleeve just ready to pull out this late in the set, huh?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Actually, the old Nolan Ryan serve, you know.
No, Nolan Ryan serve. Actually, the guys are a little bit different because they jump serve.
Right.
And so you kind of say, am I going to serve this as hard as I can right now? Because usually if you're serving really hard, you have a chance of missing, but you also have a much better chance of acing someone.
Well, Lonis is capable of an ace.
Absolutely. If this ball goes in, I'm sure it's going to be a good serve.
She also at times will go either short or long, into the net or long with an error. And right now she'd love to get an ace to wrap up set 3.
I have faith. This is a good serve.
Set point for the Knights.
Good serve.
Good dig by Allred. And Lonis and Gwynn got a little confused as to who was going to take that shot. The second hit. It's 24-22.
Still 2 chances now, just to side it out. They need a good pass, the Knights do.
Crowd really making the most noise it's made all season, and there's a service error by Marymount, 25-22.
Wow.
And the Knights pick up set number 3, and suddenly, Tom, they are now just a set away from winning this match tonight.
That's a big miss, a big service error. I think the Knights probably would have won anyway, but now it's a little discouraging when you end a set by an error like that. So the Marymount has to regroup and say, okay, now this one's our set. We're going to go to 5, and in fact, at our place, it went to 5. Let's make it go to 5 once again.
Yeah, when you look at points for the entire match so far, Marymount has won 68. Knights have won 62 because of that 25-12 advantage in set 1 for Marymount, but the Knights have the key. They have won 2 sets. Marymount only has won 1 set, and now the Knights just need to pick up either set 4 or set 5, and admittedly they would like to wrap it up here in set 4 because they don't ever want to let it come down to a set 5, even though that's what happened at Marymount on Saturday when the Knights were able to win in 5 sets.
Yeah, set 5 only goes to 15 points, and it makes it much different. Sometimes it's a flip of a coin gives you a point. When you're siding it out, you can the percentage to side out is a lot greater than when you're serving.
Yeah, in that 5th set at Marymount on Saturday, the Saints actually led 11-9, I believe, and the Knights were able to score 6 of the last 7 points to win it 15-12.
Game 5. You just don't know the momentum, and you switch at 8. sides in Game 5, so it's just a little bit different game. And I actually, as a coach, I wish they would still go to 25, but for the crowd, because it is so short, it's very, very exciting.
You can see Marymount's percentages dropping ever so much since the first set. After the first set, they were 545, and now they're 253.
That is correct. Now, Alexa Markham, however, with 27 attempts, and she's still hitting 333, so she's really carrying that team. And Mikkel Johnson, she's hitting 261. It's not bad at all with 23 swings.
Penny Gwynn has 10 kills for the Knights. Hannah Allred has 9. The Knights have 5 aces, 8 errors, and it's pretty much the same situation for Marymount with 4 aces and 8 errors. So each team, when it comes to aces versus errors, both teams are in the negative.
Yeah, and when I look at these stats, you can tell that there are 2 dominating hitters on either side, and both so 4 hitters total have a lot of swings so far. And for the Knights, what is good about the stats for the Knights is that set 1 was so terrible, hitting negative, but now in these next 2 sets, I'm sure that the Knights have outdone hitting percentage-wise, have a little bit better than Marymount, but they're still 118 to 253 because of that first dominating set.
And it's been close in the last 2 sets. The Knights have won 25-21, 25-22, but the Knights have those victories, and you wonder at this stage if Marymount maybe is starting to run out of gas and maybe a little confidence is ebbing for them, and the Knights are the exact opposite, maybe a little bit more energy and a little bit more confidence. We'll see if the 2-set winning streak that they've been able to rack up since losing that first set, if it continues here in set 4, if Marymount can come alive and send us to a set 5.
That is correct. I do want to point out one thing. I think that we keep talking about the outside hitters for the Knights, but now that I'm looking at the statistics, it is getting closer to where it's a little more evenly distributed.
Yeah, Tyre and Lonis have really done the job tonight.
Yeah, Lonis hitting with 16 attempts and Teagues with 11 attempts. And what's a nice and a good surprise, not a real surprise, but something good for the Knights, Lindsay Heyer with 5 attempts but hitting 600. So you would say she's the highest hitting percentage hitter on the team.
Here we go. Buscemi is serving to start set 4. Marymount serving. Lonis blocked. Knights cannot get that one back across, and the Saints have the first point of set 4.
Whatever happens, whatever the result, both these teams are giving it their all, and both are good teams. It is very fun to watch.
McKinley Knight with a good dig there.
Yeah.
They go over to Gwynn. She taps it over, and Marymount keeps it alive. No.
I think that the referee's going to call a lift on the setter.
And so the Knights have their first point.
1-1.
Then, as you mentioned, Tom, if the Knights somehow don't win this match and Marymount is able to stave off the Knights, it's just been a tremendous season for the Knights. And there's Allred putting it away on a mistake by Marymount.
Yeah, Hannah Allred, that's using her 6'1", 6'2" height advantage. When she's at the net and there's an overpass, she usually hits it hard. It's harder for a shorter person to get up and hit it that fast.
So the Knights have their second point of set 4. And a service error by Penny Gwynn. You don't see that too much.
Yeah, but she looks a little bit frustrated on that particular one, but she'll come back, I'm sure. 2-2.
All even. And the Saints serving here. That's Markham serving. Allred. Oh, what a dig there by the Saints. I don't know how they were able to get that one back across, but the Knights do as well. Good block by the Knights. Blocked again and out, and Marymount picks up the point. Boy, on that kill attempt by Allred, I'm not really sure how Buscemi was able to get that one.
And almost like, oh, here it is, and I had to hurry and get my hand in front of it to save it.
And they're going to go to Allred. And she puts that one away, blocked out of bounds by the Saints. It's 3-3. And now Heyer will check in here. to the front line for the Knights. So you got a front line of Crockett, Allred, and Higher, with Lonis serving. It's Crockett going to Allred. Blocked. Saints not able to get it back. Nope.
No, the referee's going to call a block on Hannah Allred, blocking the second contact.
Yep.
And reaching too far over the net. You can't reach completely over the net to
maybe?
Get it. Yeah, a little eager.
4-3, Saints by 1 now. And Crockett over to Gwen. Oh, she put that in a good spot. Here's Michael Johnson. Couldn't get it over the net. Knights get the point. Johnson has certainly cooled off from that first set.
That is exactly right. You know, and I'm looking at her. She's a freshman. It doesn't appear that she's going to adjust too much. If she can take the same swing, and it's usually cross court, and she hits it high and hard, she's good. But she doesn't hit it down the line too much, it doesn't look like.
4-4. Here's Johnson again. They're going to go to Allred on the left side.
Oh, good up.
And it's going to be out, though. And the Knights have a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, Allred just banged that one down the line with a good dig.
Without question, Tom, our best home crowd of the season, not just in numbers, but in the noise they're making.
And the looks, too. It's Halloween.
And a miss hit by Marymount on a good serve by the Knights. And the Knights now have a 2-point lead with Crockett serving 6-4. The Knights are trying to pull off to a little bit of a cushion here in set 4 in hopes of winning this match in set 4. Good serve by Crockett again. Wow. 7-4.
You know,
Marymount might need an early timeout here.
That is, yeah. You can't let the Knights get too far ahead. And Crockett serving very hard.
I wonder if the Knights get this point, if we might see a Saints timeout. Good serve again.
Yeah, very good serve. Out of system. Free ball for the Knights.
And that one's out. Wow. 8-4. And yep, here comes the timeout by Marymount. 8-4. Knights have jumped out to a 4-point lead. They've won the last 2 sets. They're trying to battle back from losing set 1 badly, 25-12, to win the match here, possibly in set 4.
The Knights looking very good right now. And Crockett serving harder than I think that I've seen her do that.
Again, it would be their 22nd win of the year. That would be the most wins by the women's volleyball team while playing in Division III since 2014. I believe one of the earlier teams, before they joined D3, had 23 wins for a season. Yeah, but this would be a heck of an achievement for recording 22 wins and just really your 4th year again in Division III.
That is correct. NCAA volleyball, you really can't compare with other teams. Other teams can be really good, but it's a whole different system. This is an NCAA division now, and so the records start all over again. Yep. And so in the NCAA, this is their best record. It's wonderful.
If they can win the match tonight, it would be their 22nd victory of the year. That 2014 team had 21 wins.
As we were watching the crowd dance, some of them, they're having fun. Halloween evening.
We're going to see, Tom, if that timeout helps Marymount or if the Knights are just on a roll here and there's no stopping the Knights and they're going to win this maybe 3-1. We'll see if that timeout benefited the Saints at all.
Right. Let's see how hard to serve. It's a good serve.
Another good block. Crockett tonight. And they go to Gwynn from the back row.
But it's another
and a miss hit by Johnson. I think she has really dropped off since set 1. It's now 9-4 Knights, and you wonder if the Saints are just getting a little bit rattled now.
Yeah, that's what it sure appears to be that way. Yeah, number 12 not hitting like she did in the first few games.
Good low serve again by Laree Crockett. And it'll be over to Gwynn from the back row.
Probably go to Johnson.
They will again.
And now, that
finally
time,
a point.
She hit down the line, and that's where the hole was. So
9-5.
But I'm not so sure that it was that intentional. It's where her body line, where the ball took her. She had to hit it that way. If she can keep hitting it down the line, that'll be very effective, I think.
See if the Knights can keep this cushion now with a 4-point lead. It'll be Johnson.
There's a cross-court shot.
Good play by Gwynn to get it back over. And the Saints will just barely get it back over.
Teagues.
Teagues a little tip, not able to get it over. 9-6. So the Saints have a couple of points in a row as they try to battle back.
It's naturally harder to set a back set for any setter, right-handed setter especially. And, yeah, that was a hard set to get to for Teagues.
And Teagues will try again over the left side. Here's Teagues. Couldn't get it back over. 9-7. That's 3 in a row now for the Saints after the Knights looked like they might be unbeatable at 9-4. Now suddenly it's 9-7.
Marymount, just good. A good team. They're not going to let the Knights just go on long runs.
Saints serving again. Here's Allred. And she is blocked, and that's 4 in a row by Marymount.
Wow, 9-8.
Guess that timeout really did help Marymount.
You are right.
At least temporarily. Might still have a 1-point lead. Good low serve. 9-9. That's 5 in a row. Now maybe the Knights might need a timeout as the Saints have come from 9-4 down to tie it up at 9.
And it is a timeout.
Just when it appeared Marymount was making lots of mistakes and they were a little rattled, they simply go on a 5-0 run, Tom, to take a 9-4 deficit and make it a 9-9 game here in set 4.
Well, that's why I don't have much hair left. You just, as a coach, you just never know how that's going to end up. Momentum in volleyball is just huge, as much as in any sport that I can think of, and it just goes back and forth so much.
And it just seems to me that it doesn't always work out like this, but this is a good percentage that sometimes these runs occur after a timeout is called.
That is, yeah, and that's why a timeout is called. The coach tries to regroup, and the team can regroup mentally, but sometimes physically and even strategically they do something different. And for some reason, okay, they must have called timeout for some reason, so sometimes it's a mental thing from the other side. Oh, timeout, so we're not going to play as well, and it's a very interesting thing.
Just when you start to say 9-4, almost a side-out situation for the Knights, point for point, and now suddenly 9-9, and we got a brand new set 4 again.
Yep. Now Higher is in, and if they can get the ball to Higher, like I said, is hitting 600. I don't think she's had a swing since I talked about her hitting percentage. We'll see if they ever go to Higher in this particular rotation 1.
Buscemi is serving here for the Saints. She's a sophomore, 5'5", from Weston, Florida. Good low
Probably
serve.
Going outside to Allred.
Good dig there by Buscemi. Blocked by Allred. 10-9. Knights back on top by 1. And now Allred will serve.
Allred, her height and her blocking ability is just really formidable for trying to get the ball past her.
Good serve, too. Michael Johnson will get it over. And now here's Crockett going to the back row to Allred, and she finds a little opening as the Saints were not expecting that shot. 11-9. Knights now by 2.
Timeout's very effective, as you said.
Saints call a timeout. They get 5 in a row. Knights call a timeout. They get 2 in a row. Good block.
Oh, he called a touch. The referee called a touch, so play continues.
They go to Gwynn. Almost put that one away. Buscemi right there for a dig.
Oh, they're going to call a touch on the Knights, so it'll be point Marymount.
And it's 11-10.
I think the Knights disagreed with that.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't obviously like it.
Yeah, the linesperson called the touch.
Here's Vineyard serving for the Saints, 11-10. And they go to Higher with the kill. And I think we're going to have a lift.
Yeah.
Called on Marymount, 12-10.
That dig was pretty tight to the net, and the setter a little indecision whether to set the ball or just try to get it over the net, and she kind of went halfway in between.
McKinley Knight serving with a 2-point lead. Knight with one hand couldn't make the save. It's 12-11. And here comes Jasmine Roy, the freshman out of Springfield, Virginia, in to serve. Knights holding on to a 1-point lead. And that time a miss hit by the Knights. It goes right over to Marymount, and they put it away to make it 12-12.
Good play by Marymount, knowing where the setter is. When the setter's in the back row, she can't jump up above the net and try to grab the ball and send it over.
Another situation where Allred hit it too close to the net on the dig. And now the Saints will set things up over on the left-hand side. And Allred can't return that one. And the Saints now have jumped on top here, 13-12, after they trailed at one point, 9-4. They have outscored the Knights 9-3.
You're good at that math, Jim. Real fast. That's great.
And that one's going to be too long, and we're all even at 13.
Well, missed serves played a part in the last set. We'll see how missed serves end up here in this set, if it plays a part in either a win for the Knights or a loss for the Knights going to the fifth.
Delaney Layton checks in to serve. All even at 13.
Kind of an easy serve.
And no stopping that shot by Ashton Walker, the junior from Chesapeake. Puts it away, and Marymount's got a 1-point lead here, 14-13.
Yeah, Layton, I think, wants to get that ball back. She kind of mishit it off her hand. It was an easy pass.
1-point lead for the Saints. They are in do or die situation. They have to win set 4 or they're done for the entire season. Gwynn, saved there by the Saints. Marymount got it over the net barely. Gwynn puts it away. 14-13.
14 apiece, I think.
14-14. The Knights trailed there 14-13. Gwynn's kill evens it at 14, so we're all tied again at 14. And Gwynn, who's made a big play there, now she goes back to serve in an all-even set number 4, 14-14.
Great athletic play by Gwynn.
Blocked by the Knights.
Oh, the referee's going to call it. Didn't go over the net, so a point Knights.
15-14. Knights by 1, getting closer to 25 and a match win. Good soft serve by Penny Gwynn there. Blocked by the Knights. 16-14.
Now, Crockett, number 6, is part of that good block there. And, she's a little bit shorter than the other players, so when she gets a block, it's fun for her, and you can tell.
2-point lead for the Knights. Trying to expand upon that lead, and an error by Gwynn. She just couldn't get it over. 16-15.
Yeah, that's a few this evening by Gwynn. She can tell she's shaking her head. Another missed serve.
1-point lead for Southern Virginia. 16-15. Here's Lonis. Tips it over with the right hand. Marymount will try the right side. Great dig by McKinley Knight. Over to Allred, and she puts it away as that hit the hands, I think, of Jasmine Roy, number 3. And so the Knights will get that point.
Yeah.
I think the crowd thought they were going to give the point to Marymount, but it would clearly hit number 3's hands. It's 17-15.
17-15.
Knights by 2. Lonis serving.
Oh, boy.
Hoteling not able to stop that one, and really there was no reason she should be able to stop. That was a great kill by Marymount, 17-16, and the Knights just can't seem to pull away to a set 4 victory right now.
This is going to be exciting right down at the end.
17-16, 1-point lead for the Knights with Newen serving. Crockett to Gwynn in the back row. They go to Johnson. Another great dig by McKinley Knight.
Knights had a lot of digs.
Blocked by the Knights. Was that Higher, I think, with the block?
Higher playing very well this evening. And that's what she doesn't get a lot of sets. So 18-16, but Higher doesn't get a lot of sets. So blocking the ball, that's one of the big reasons why she's in.
Crockett serving, and she has a service error. It's 18-17. So the Knights just can't pull away, and they've had a few service errors down the stretch here in set 4.
Yeah, they sure have, and Marymount's just not going to go away.
18-17. Knight, a little bit of a mishit there. Gwynn. Great play by Penny Gwynn, and not able to stop it was Marymount's Cordry. 19-17.
Yeah, I don't think that people realize how athletic a play that is. Gwynn hitting from the back row and really flying into the ball like that. What is a really athletic move.
Served by Allred. 2-point lead by the Knights. Here's Johnson.
Oh, nice dig by Crockett.
Somehow the Knights were able to get that back over. They go to Johnson again. Blocked. Point to the Knights, 20-17. It just seems right now Marymount, their only option or choice here is to go over to Johnson on the left side.
That's a lot to depend on a freshman like that. That's a big load.
Oh, almost an ace by Allred. Tiggs to Gwynn.
And that roll shot.
And the Knights get the point. 21-17. Marymount may take a timeout. Let's see. They will. The Knights by 4. They are 4 points away from winning their first ever, I believe, Capital Conference tournament match.
That is correct. And going into the semifinals with that.
And again, they started off really struggling in set 1, losing 25-12, but they were able to gut it out in set 2, 25-21. They were able to hold off Marymount in set 3, 25-22, and they've got the lead here, Tom.
21-17, a 4-point lead. And once again, if they can just remain even without making errors, they should win this game now, win the match.
And as Tom mentioned, if they win here, they'll have their 22nd win of the year, most in school history since joining Division III, surpassing the 21 wins of 2014, and they would go on to the conference semifinals Thursday at Mary Washington, Thursday at 7 p.m. Knights would hope to win that, hope CNU gets beat, and then they would host the championship on Saturday. If CNU were to win and the Knights were able to win on Thursday, they would go to CNU on Saturday for the championship.
Now, I watched that match when the Knights went to Mary Wash, and it was a very close match, and they match up well, and they could have won that match. So I'm sure that the Knights are looking forward to a rematch.
21-17, Allred serving. Knights need 4 more points. Wynn almost put it away right there.
But a good play by the Knights, and oh boy, good dig for Marymount.
Johnson on the far side is blocked by the Knights.
Yeah.
22-17, 3 points to go.
They've taken care of Johnson here this last while. Marymount, let's see if they try to set the middle on a good pass.
Johnson just doesn't seem to be getting up as high as she was in the first set.
Yeah. It's got to go back row. So it'll be a good swing here for Teagues.
Blocked out of bounds by Marymount, 23-17. Knights need 2 more points.
Now a big lead for the Knights.
This will be a tough loss for the Saints. They would drop to 14-14. Their season would be over. They had a heck of a first set victory, and they played very well in this match, but the Knights have just really picked it up a notch after losing that first set.
Yeah, I think that the Knights are just a little better team, and I think the youngness, I didn't look at all the roster, but like Johnson, she's a freshman, just being so young, and Marymount's going to be around and be better next year, I think.
23-17, and that is a service error by Allred, 23-18. Still, the Knights just need 2 more points to win. Stay with us for the postgame. We'll have an interview, either Coach Gwynn or one of the players, as the Knights are trying to win the match here in set number 4. Crockett to Gwynn. And the Knights have match point coming up.
Well, how appropriate to have a roll shot at that time for the important point.
24-18.
24-18, match point for the Knights.
Crowd on its feet. McKinley Knight serving. Knights trying to win for the first time ever in the Capital Conference Tournament. Point to Marymount. They stay alive, 24-19.
Just one side out for the win.
Yeah, Marymount needs 5 points in a row from here. The Knights have 5 tries, unsuccessful in their first crack on match point. Here's another match point. They go to Tiggs, and it's the Knights winning.
And look at the crowd. I don't know if the camera catches all the crowd, but how fun is that? They're coming out onto the court, jumping up and down.
First ever win for the Knights in the Capital Conference Tournament. And in Division III, Tom, as we talked about, the most wins in school history, and still counting, obviously, we hope, as the Knights have picked up their 22nd win of the year to improve to 22-7 on the season. And the season continues Thursday on the road at Mary Washington in the semifinals as the crowd is enveloping the women's volleyball players. What a great effort by the Knights. Tip your hat off to Marymount. They played very hard tonight, but the Knights were able to come back from a tough loss in set number 1, Tom, 25-12, and they go on for a 25-21, 25-22, 25-19 run to win this match 3-1.
Yeah, that seems to be the MO of the Knights, is to give a few points early, but then start coming back, and they came all the way back. 3 games, actually 3 sets, they played very well. Just a few errors here and there, and now we have looks like we have Hannah Allred coming to talk to us. And Hannah Allred, we're getting you ready here. Now you're still out of breath,
yeah.
But Hannah, let's come up here if you will.
Okay.
The camera may be able to pick us up here out of this window. But Hannah, would you just give us your reflections on this particular match, and then we'll talk about the season.
I think it was important for us to come out fighting. And the first set, we kind of had a little bit of nerves set in.
Can you tell us what happened in the first set?
I think it was just new for everyone. We kind of weren't ready for such a big atmosphere and such a big crowd, but we're so grateful that they came out. But after we settled in, we took care of business. We did what we needed to do, pass the ball, run an offense, and came out on top. So
you said something that I just picked up on. So the crowd can actually, when you haven't seen a big crowd like that, can affect you in negatively, but then it can really help you positively.
Right, and I think in the first set that's what happened. Was definitely was a little bit scary for all of us, and then it helped us in the last couple sets. Marymount's a great team, but we could kind of see them falling apart with the crowd behind us, so that was very important for us. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, tell us about the season, and you just reflect back, because this, as Jim said, this is the most number of wins now as NCAA team, and just give us your reflection of the season.
I mean, it's an honor, honestly, to be a part of this team. All these girls, we work so hard every day. I feel like we deserve this, and I feel like we earned it every day in practice and every game that we put in. It's kind of surreal being a part of a team that's winningest on campus. It's awesome. It's such an honor, and like I said, our crowd's great. The girls work hard, so it's just been a great year, and it's not ending yet, so we have a few more games to
Well, you said
win.
the magic
Yep.
thing right there. Please tell us what you're looking forward to, and the team that you're playing. Just tell us who it is, and if there are any strategic things that you can think of right now.
Yeah, we play Marymount Mary Washington on Thursday. They're a great team. They have a couple of really good pin hitters. I think we need to focus on. Last time we played them, they're burning us on our block, so we need to get up better and maybe press a little more on the block, and maybe even pass a little bit better so we can run an offense. Last time we played them, we just were a little out of sorts, and so I think we've taken that into account, and we're going to work on it in practice tomorrow and come out ready on Thursday. So.
Well, it's about a 3-hour drive to Mary Washington, and wouldn't it be fun to have a lot of Knights there cheering for the Knights?
It would be awesome, honestly. As many people as we can get, we'll take. We have to learn how to play under this pressure, though, so if we do win these games going into regionals and even nationals, we have to learn to be able to play without the crowd behind us. But any support we can get is awesome. So.
And maybe lastly, Hannah, would you just tell us, you've been here how many years? Let's talk about how many
Sure.
years you've been here and just your experience. You're a senior, and we
Sure.
won't get to see you in a home match again,
Yeah.
but please tell us.
I transferred here from Salt Lake Community College. It was a great program. They helped me a lot with these kind of situations, pressure situations, and coming in as a junior last year, I feel like we learned a lot. It was a transition year for sure. And this year we've just come out fighting and ready to go, and all the seniors on our team have been such a great. We have such great leaders on our team with all the seniors, Delaney, Claire, Penny, and myself. We just we love this atmosphere. We love playing with all this crowd behind us, and we have a little bit of experience as seniors, so it's been nice to play with these girls and just
Well,
win some
I,
games.
as watching you guys in practice and in games, you can tell that the team cohesion is just
yeah.
great. Would you just tell us what your experience this year with the team and
Sure.
what you're going to miss?
I mean, these girls are just my best friends, honestly, when it comes down to it. And we play, when we have fun, we play our best. And in practice, we're always goofing around and having fun, and then it transfers into games. And it's going to be hard to not be with these girls anymore. But it's just awesome having them behind me. And it's going to, we still have games left, so I'm trying not to get emotional. But
Do you want to give any shout-outs to anyone?
yeah, my little sister, Amelia, if she's watching.
Oh,
Hi.
awesome.
And then
What's
my
her name?
family, Amelia.
Amelia.
Yeah, so.
All right. Well, any final words of wisdom?
Thanks so much for the support, fans, and we're ready to win a few more.
And they're still on the court.
Yep, they
what
are.
a wonderful evening.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Hannah, very much. So I'm going to turn some time back over to Jim here.
So a tremendous win, Tom, obviously, for the Knights. And Hannah Allred doing a great job, too. And we've got the final numbers here as, in that first set, that was won by Marymount 25-12. They had a 545 percentage, and you could see, obviously, how it went down after the Knights were able to come back and win set 2, 25-21, set 3, 25-22, and then winning that last set 25-19.
The statistics, as you said, the set 2, 3, 4, those sets, I'm sure that the Knights out-hit Marymount just by a little bit. It's very interesting to notice, though, that overall is 182 to 145, still in favor of Marymount because of that first game. But just
in fact, when you look at the total points, it was 68-68, or 87-87, I think. But again, the Knights, it was just amazing the way the Knights were able to respond after that drubbing, I guess you could say, basically. Marymount played almost a near-perfect set number one.
Sure seemed
and
like
still
it.
The Knights were able to shake it off and come right back in set 2.
It sure seemed like that as well. And look at the number of sets for different players. There was more than just a couple of outside hitters for Southern Virginia. I think that was big this evening. Everyone needed to contribute, which they did this evening for a team win, more than just a few people really hitting more than other people.
And so win or lose on Thursday, it's just been a tremendous season for the Knights. That was their 22nd win, most wins in school history in Division III, winning for the first time in the Capital Conference Tournament. And now they go to play Mary Washington Thursday at 7 o'clock in the semifinals. And again, if they win, they move on to the championship on Saturday, either at CNU or back here to play maybe York or Salisbury. Whoever wins tonight between those teams, provided those teams, one of those teams beats CNU. But right now the Knights are focused on their next match, and that's Thursday night in the semifinals. They have to win that one to get to the championship.
Yeah, I would like to invite all the fans that want to go there. It's a great atmosphere. Mary Washington has a great gymnasium to go watch. A lot of people come out of their big crowd, and it'd be fun to have some Knights trying to counter that. So I invite, and I assume it's a 7 o'clock start time. I'm not sure that we know that, but we have one of the coaches here for the Knights trying to make fun of us out here, but this is my compadre also. I don't know. He's probably in the camera. So this is John Baker, who also works with us. He's assistant for the women and the men. And all the coaching staff.
The crowd obviously was a factor tonight. So as you say, if the Knights can bring some fans with them Thursday on the road, you just can't underestimate how important that could be.
Home court advantage is big. And I really mean that. Even if there are a few loud fans, that really counters a big gymnasium full of fans for the other team, because those few people can really make it, I don't know, it seems like they're irritating sometimes, but they're cheering, and it really makes a big difference for your own team.
So congratulations once again to the Knights, the Southern Virginia University women's volleyball team, winning in 4 sets, coming back after losing set 1 to defeat Marymount here in the conference quarterfinals as they win over Marymount 3 sets to 1. And good luck to the Knights as they play on the road again Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Mary Washington in the conference semifinals. That'll wrap things up here from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Coach Tom Peterson, our director Craig Reese, and all of our fantastic production staff. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Knights Volleyball. Have a great evening.